Well, it was 2011 when Roxie Jerde arrived in Sarasota to head up the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. And from the very beginning, the Patterson Foundation and Community Foundation found ways that we could partner and work together. Today, we're going to talk about one of the many partnerships that the Community Foundation and TPF has. And I'm Debra Jacobs, and I'm excited to be here with Roxie Jerde. So Roxie, you know, nationally, you're known as the mom of the Giving Partner. Might have different names in different places, but could you just give us a snippet about what is the Giving Partner?
Well, thank you, Debra. And as you know, I love partnering with you and TPF, as does our team at the foundation. The Giving Partner really came about in early 2000s when I was at the Greater Kansas City Community Foundation and really wanting an in-depth local source for donors to understand what were the options available for what their charitable interests or desires were to accomplish and achieve what they wanted to do with their charitable dollars. So that really gave birth to this marvelous free online database, community filing cabinet almost, of the local nonprofits. From Kansas City, we were funded by the Hewlett Foundation. We were able to then do a pilot with foundations across the country. And lo and behold, when I was hired to run the foundation, my board said, we want that. So, and you and the Patterson Foundation jumped on board from the beginning to help support it and be part of the partnership that launched it.
Well, and the Patterson Foundation is always about strengthening individuals, organizations, and communities in ways that foster wide participation. And when it's a 24-hour web platform for people to share their information, that helps wide participation.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we have the Giving Partner, and organizations put their profile on there with all kinds of information from their board of directors, from their strategies, their 990s. Having that 24-hour web-based platform, the Giving Partner, yes. Why is that work? How does it work?
Well, it is so wonderful. We know that people truly are up sometimes in the middle of the night, and they may have a pressing question about a nonprofit. They can go there and there it is. So being so accessible at all times for donors and even other nonprofits learning about other mission-based nonprofits. So while donors are the primary audience, it also has turned out to be helpful for nonprofits to learn about each other as well.
So when we think about the Giving Partner 24/7 platform, it's work to keep your profile up to date if you're a nonprofit, okay? So we want to make sure nonprofits feel the value of the Giving Partner, and they do as donors connect with them. But where did the Giving Challenge come from?
Well, when we launched the Giving Partner, we started collecting data with nonprofits in 2011, and in the spring of 2012, we launched a Giving Challenge and the Giving Partner, and it was a great way to encourage nonprofits to be able to put their information in, to have this opportunity to participate. So the first 8-9 months, we had about 110 nonprofits. It's work. We review them. They put their information in. So we launched it and gave the challenge the opportunity to have some community excitement about what is this, let's understand who's there, and who is our partner with some match money.
Well, I can recall sitting at the desk saying, do you think the Patterson Foundation might want to work with us on the Giving Challenge? And again, it was the how do we help anyone be a donor? And so TPF did say, yes, we will. But Roxie, we have had how many Giving Challenges since those early days? How many have we had?
So we launched it in 2012, and since then we have had 7 challenges. We did, I think, 4 years in a row, and then that was intended, let's get it fully populated, and it was such a hit and success. Thanks truly to the incentives and motivation, the Patterson Foundation has evolved to make this just this community-wide excitement. But we realized, you know what, we want our nonprofit partners to really steward those donors that they get in that are new, as well as the current ones that they have, and to sharpen their own online fundraising skills. So we have moved to an every other year sequence of dates.
So when we think about in the early days, there was skepticism about what was this thing and would it really work? And I love how every year there's been learnings. Every year we've learned how to be smarter. Not every year, but each time we have a challenge, we learn how to be smarter. The Patterson Foundation surely has learned how to modify its matches to propel more donations. But in the world of why is this a strategic thing, the Giving Challenge? It's not just let's have a party, but it actually helps build nonprofit muscles, right?
Absolutely. They have to have a strategy. They need to make a plan and then obviously execute on it. We also have all sorts of prizes to encourage, partnerships to best video, best campaign. So it really is a way. How do I tell my story of who I am as a nonprofit, what I'm accomplishing? So we've learned that from small, all volunteer to large, sophisticated organizations, they really all have an opportunity to just jump right in. And we really encourage a nonprofit to pick a prize that they might want. Don't go for every one of them. So it might be a business partnership, a nonprofit to nonprofit partnership. But we've learned not only does it help themselves be better on how do I do an online fundraising event, but also how can I have partners and expand beyond that. So we've learned yes, it's 24 hours, but a lot of planning goes into it before that. And more importantly, we build out a strategy and a marketing public relations structure that by themselves would not be as successful, but when it's for the community and we can really rally everyone to be a philanthropist, that's the piece of this, that it becomes bigger than who you are.
Well, let's flip just for a second to why do donors seem to be intrigued with the Giving Challenge? What's the value in it for a donor?
Because you get addicted to the leaderboard and you can't turn it off and you keep going to it. And we have stories of people who wake up in the middle of the night. I wonder how much they've raised and who's on top of this leaderboard. So with 700 nonprofits participating, is it a competition? Not really, but yeah, it is, because you're seeing somebody at the top with the number of donations that they have and the dollars that they've raised. And now nonprofits have their own matches in addition to the TPF match. So there is such an energy and enthusiasm, and truly that leaderboard just becomes, you can't turn it off and you keep going back to it.
Well, and I love some of the stories about how families actually make the Giving Challenge a family event. Do you want to tell a story about that?
Well, we have so many wonderful families and they want to introduce their children to giving. So they will give their kids a budget. Minimum donation is $25. It might be $100. But they'll have their kids. What do you care about? Go explore on that Giving Challenge. And you get to make a donation, and then let's talk about what you chose and why did you choose that. So that begins that family conversation, and more importantly, passing on those charitable values to their kids.
Roxie, every Giving Challenge, we've had more organizations participate, we've had more donors, and more final results. COVID came in March of 2020. And we were all hunkered down, and the Giving Challenge was already on the books to happen that spring. And so many people said, no, it's a pandemic, you can't do anything, it's not the time to do it. And after much thought and discussion, the decision was, no, now more than ever, because givers want to give. So why don't you talk a little bit about the success of the Giving Challenge during COVID?
And there were people that said, are you going to do this? And we got some negative, but we heard from so many more, we need it now more than ever. So we obviously, it's virtual. we were able to go ahead with it, and some people would do events, but it all became virtual. Events were being canceled and fundraisers, so there was a little panic of lost revenue from fundraisers. So what we witnessed was nonprofits having full attention on, let's get this giving challenge done and do it successfully. I think it gave them hope, and it gave them something to really rally around, rather than, yes, we all were going remote ourselves, but they could really rally around it and with their boards. And obviously the results were beyond belief. I know we do our contest with our teams on how much, I don't know if anybody even got close, because the results were phenomenal. We raised over 19.1 million. TPF, how many millions with your up to $100 per person per organization?
So while we were a healthy chunk of that, it really was the community that propelled those dollars forward.
Well, 7.4 million.
Okay, well, and thank you for remembering. Actually, that's a thank you to our board who gives that. I do want to articulate what challenge went on there. Our board said we will match dollar for dollar up to $100, each unique gift to each unique organization. So anybody could say, ooh, 687 organizations. I'll give $100 to each one of them. And the Patterson Foundation would match that because there was no cap.
Courageous.
So courageous board. And but we were honored because there were thousands of people who said, I am giving during this time because organizations need us.
We had 59,000 unique individuals and over 110,000 gifts in 24 hours. And what really was so heartwarming, people understood that the food banks really needed it. And between our food banks in the 4-county area, over $1 million was given. Collectively in previous challenges, maybe 250, 300,000. So that was, people got it, people have to eat, we need to step up and support so people have their food. And on top of this, we had done Season of Sharing to keep people in homes and reactivated that campaign. People really understood that. We also, we have a phone bank because we get a lot of calls when it kicks off. We haven't had donors call us with, my neighbor introduced me to the nature and outdoors during the pandemic, and I want to honor her. What can I do? So we said the Audubon Society might be something, the Conservation Foundation, and the
or
stories.
Go on the Giving Partner and put in nature and see what comes up. Yes.
So donors recognized they wanted to do something sitting at home. So to come together as a community, I think it gave people really this hopefulness that, you know, we're going to take care of each other and we have a way to support our nonprofits that we so desperately need during this time. And with your unrestricted, all these gifts are unrestricted. The day we sent out $19 million out into the community, wow.
Made a difference.
We know now that really did sustain so many nonprofits through the pandemic.
That's right, and thanks to those donors. So there's a giving challenge coming up this year in April 26, 27. So I would like to just share that the Patterson Foundation is again going to do its match 1-to-1 up to $100 for every unique donor to every unique organization. So we're interested to see what happens.
We are too. So tune in at noon, go to the givingchallenge.org, and you're going to start watching that clicker
watch that leaderboard.
It just doesn't stop.
And if for some reason you can't sleep, you can make a donation anytime during that 24 hours to propel the organization whose mission speaks to your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Debra.
All right.